We saw the former communication minister, Issa Pantami, put that up on social. That was how they knew when the Abuja Kaduna train attack happened. There was, the chairman of a particular educational board that was among the victims. It was from the news that they found out that they even kidnapped one, and they had to identify him. Just to show you that these bandits are on social media, they are reading newspaper, they are listening to radio and TV stations to find out who their victims are, so they can know what to value them.
At this point in time, you're talking about paying ransom. What do Nigerians, what do they then do to free up their family members? Because if you have a situation where someone tells you, I'll kill you if you don't give me this amount of money, I'll kill this person rather if you don't give me this amount of money, are your family members not supposed to rally round to help you? Seeing as it takes really long for us to hear a rescue mission. It takes really, really long. I mean, the security outfits, they've been doing really well. We're commending them, but more can actually be done, because you have a situation where even when the security outfits go there, even when the military goes to some of their hideouts and try to get these individuals, they use the kidnappees as body as a shield, as armor, right? So at this point in time, what exactly can be done about this situation? Is such a dicey situation, and I understand that it's really, really complex, because there will be casualties whether we like it or not. But at this point in time, these individuals are operating within a certain place. They're not flying, they're not hiding, they're not spirits, they're not ghosts. They move within a certain community, and Nigerians are seeing them move. Nigerians are seeing them move with vehicles, because how then do they transport their victims? Nigerians see them move with vehicles. Nigerians see them walk around. They get diesel, they get fuel, right? How do they get these things? Are they not buying it from a particular filling station, or is somebody else sourcing it for them? Who are these individuals helping them? Where are they getting food from? All these are different aspects. Is it spirits that is giving it to them, or it's still the same Nigerians that are complaining, right? That are aiding them? So at this point in time, we have to look at it and help. It says that heaven helps those who help themselves. At this point, we need help ourselves. We need to stop looking at the small pinchon money that these individuals will find for you. You need to stop looking at that and look at the value of life. It seems like we've lost the value of human life in Nigeria, and we need to get to that point where the life of an individual is really, really, really valued.
It's quite pathetic, but before we move on to another headline, it's necessary we stay this here. Federal government raised the concern of Nigerians now raising ransom for families of kidnappees, or the victims, as I might rightly put it. But now the concern is, if those who are being kidnapped, the family do not have the money to pay this ransom, because at the end of the day, at that point, if a family member is being kidnapped, you act irrationally. You want to do anything to ensure that your loved one is safe.
Return safe.
And the only thing you can do right now is knowing some individuals have given up on the security architecture of the country, that there's no point even reporting to the police. Let's do what these bandits want and get our loved one back home.
Exactly.
So if they crowdsource, we know that there's this unsaid rule or policy of no negotiation with bandits. But at this point, what should the loved ones of the victims do? Should they fold their arms and just wait until security agencies come to give them maybe a sad news of the demise of their loved one, or possibly a good news of their loved one being rescued? What should they do if they don't have a means to pay these bandits? And that's why we've seen the new trend of crowdfunding on social media. Well,
we're hoping that there's a sort of something that is done to help in that aspect. But let's move on to Ibadan, where there was an explosion that rocked the city, the old city, and we're seeing the aftermath of it. And Ground Zero is looking pretty devastated at this point in time. Where this headline is saying residents blame Malian illegal miners as federal government probes blast. Residents blame Malian illegal miners as federal government probes blast. Now, residents of Adeyi Avenue in Bodija, Ibadan, Oyo State, have blamed Malian illegal miners for the explosion that rocked the ancient city on Tuesday night. The explosion left at least 3 persons dead, scores of others injured, and property worth billions of naira destroyed. Now, this is just as the president, Bola Tinubu, on Tuesday called on the relevant government agencies to fish out and punish those responsible for what he called reckless behavior that got a devastating blast in Ibadan, the Oyo state capital, Tuesday night. Now, this was as he expressed sadness over the incident he described as worrisome. At least 3 persons were confirmed dead. Over 80 were injured in the explosion, which also destroyed several buildings, vehicles, and other property. Now, a resident of that particular area, who simply identified himself as Apa, in an interview with journalists in Ibadan, he said there were no illegal mining sites in the area. He, however, blamed illegal miners from the West African country Mali who lived in the area for the explosion, adding that the federal government should send illegal miners out of the country.
Looking at the explosion that happened in Ibadan, and of course, we heard Governor Makinde stating that preliminary investigation showed that there were activities of illegal mining happening in that particular community. But now there is, another report, even from residents, debunking that truly there are there's no really, this is not a real case of illegal mining activity happening where the blast happened. Rather, we have people who had, explosives stored in their houses.
Yes.
This is not the new case. Possibly they have it stored, and of course they take it from there to wherever they are having their illegal mining activities. Now the question is, why do you store, such caliber of explosive in your house? You've seen the devastation that explosion has caused, and over according to multiple reports, some actually said over 50 vision that showed overhead drone shots of the devastation of the blast, and I saw the effect. It was so devastating, so painful to see. And of course we know that a couple of people were trapped as a result of that blast
in the rubble,
and it's necessary that the government take into action, get into action, especially dealing decisively with illegal miners. And of course, it is also necessary that stiffer regulations be put in place. Yes, we have regulations stopping, illegal mining and activities of this, illegal miners. But at the end of the day, the question is, these policies are there, but are they being put to use?
The governor, Sheyi Makinde, he talked about the fact that that's where those explosives were stored, right, in that particular area. But you have to also look at the fact that how do you obtain an explosive? That's arms and ammunition. You're looking at a very, very serious thing, and that's on the exclusive list for the federal government. For you to be able to get an explosive, you need proper licensing.
People do create explosives in their house. So
normal local one.
Yes, it's just for you to have covered and some other things like that. How do you think this bandits do their IEDs? They manually create it at home.
I understand that, right? I understand that. Looking at this particular, reports are still coming in from Oyo State, so we'll get to find out just how sophisticated this particular explosive is. But looking at the aftermath, right, it's looking like a very, very sophisticated weapon. That is a very sophisticated explosive at this point in time. But hey, if these individuals, that means these residents actually knew who these individuals were. They know what they're doing.
Malians.
They know what they're doing. So why didn't they report? How was the governor supposed to know that something illegal was going on there? Is he a spirit? Is he supposed to fight, just wake up and appear and see that, there's something untoward going on in this place? At this point in time, residents, Nigerians, need to stop looking and shifting their eyes. There was once a time in Nigeria where, it caused a bit of a problem, but there was once a time in Nigeria where someone sees something and on what they're seeing it with all their chest. Something is going on here. Muna come help me check. Something is going on here. Something, criminal in nature is going on here. There was once a time in Nigeria, I grew up in a Nigeria that was pretty much, there was that you didn't have that privacy sort of. You most definitely will have an auntie or an uncle down the streets that has reported your case to your mother. If we had that, why can't we have situations where you have seen some of these illegal miners? You know that they are illegal miners. How do you know? How do you know that they don't have documentation? How? Because these residents are coming to talk about the fact that they are illegal miners. So you knew before now that these individuals are illegal miners. How exactly is the government supposed to fight that if you do not open your mouth? So Nigerians need to get out of that space of, oh, no be my concern, it does not affect me, shebi it's not my house, right? It doesn't affect me, my house is not really close to where the thing is. Now look at it. Look at it. We need to take responsibility. We need to do better as a country.
Okay, remember you can be a part of the show this morning. It's Voice of the People 96.1 FM here in the capital city of Abuja. 14 minutes going past 8 o'clock. Feel free to join in on the conversation. You can call us up or send us a message via WhatsApp. The number is 0700 010 961 961. I take the number again, 0700 010 961 961. Put a call through to the number. You can actually react to any of the headlines you find interesting, and you can also drop a message on our WhatsApp portal via the same number. We are also live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Join the stream and also interact with us on that particular platform. And remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube page as well.
All right, there's a headline here from the Nation newspaper talking about NERC okaying hike in electricity tariff. We have NERC okaying hike in electricity tariff through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. The federal government yesterday approved an upward review in electricity tariff. The NERC chairman Sanusi Garba, who broke the news in Abuja, said it would cost the government between 120 billion naira to 130 billion naira monthly, which is about 1.6 trillion naira, to subsidize electricity this year. And asked for how long the government would pay the subsidy, Garba said, anytime the government takes a decision on subsidy, we will take it into consideration in our next tariff. In other words, even if there is an upward review of the cost of electricity, the government will be absorbing the increase for as long as it can. Now, the multi-year tariff order took effect from January 1st. According to the NERC, non-maximum demand customers of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company will retain the 68.2 naira per kilowatt tariff, and the review has affected the cost reflective tariff for the BAD, which was 88.47 naira in 2023, but now it is 124.42 naira this year, indicating a 35.95 naira increase per kilowatt. Now, it means that the government has subsidized 35.95 naira for consumers in this category. Under the Eco Electricity Distribution Company band, non-maximum demand customers who paid 67.48 naira last year will still to pay the same price this year. However, their cost reflective tariff has moved 89.03 last year to 114 this year. This indicates a subsidy of 25.81 per kilowatts. At this point in time, we're still seeing a hike in our tariff. As much as we say the federal government is subsidizing, we're still seeing a hike in our tariff at this point. There needs to be a lot more that would be done. The other day we were talking about creating dams, and I'm of the school of thoughts that it's not to create more when we don't already maintain the ones that we have. I mean, we saw the aftermath of not having a dam, especially with the flooding in Kogi State last year and the year before that. We saw all those situations, but we have dams in Nigeria. We do have dams in Nigeria. How are we managing them? Are we managing them to the best of their capacity? They have capacities. They have the ability to produce. Just how well did we handle it? We went in my school days. We traveled to a dam in Osun State. I forget the name now. It's one of the big dams in Osun State, and when we toured that particular dam, they were telling us about the fact that this dam has the ability to project rainfall. That particular dam, Ashejire, exactly. We went to Ashejire, and then we checked out some other one in Osun State as well. So in that area, they told us a couple of things that this particular, the equipment that this particular dam has, and you that it was sophisticated, but the guy was saying, we've asked for maintenance, we've asked for this, we've asked for that, but it's not, brought forth, right? We can't do this because monies have not been provided. At this point in time, just how serious are we about posterity? Because it is very, very interesting that we have a culture of not maintaining. We have a poor maintenance culture, and that needs to change if we're ready to change things in our society as a whole.
Talking about this electricity drama, I think I heard the Minister of Power, I think it was earlier this week, where he actually said the federal government spent about 600 billion naira in subsidizing electricity in 2023 alone. And of course, that was what they said. And that's the National Electrical Regulatory Commission have now okayed the hike in tariff. But consumers might not be bearing the brunt at the moment, because the federal government have decided that they are going to subsidize power. They are going to pay whatever the difference is for Nigerian customers and consumers, so we don't suffer so much. And looking at the figure that was put by the federal government, it is about 1.6 trillion naira, and that's what they're going to use in subsidizing power
for this year
2024. And now I'm not looking at 2023 and 2024. If the Minister of Power said 600 billion was used in subsidizing electricity in 2023, why do we see the figure increase
exponentially,
astronomically
1.6
to 1.6 from that's 1 billion 1 trillion naira more than what it should be? 600 billion in 2023 and then 1.6 trillion in 2024. So the question is, how do they come about the difference? Are they telling us the hike in tariff is what hiked it up to about 1 million difference from what it was in 2023? And of course, how sustainable is this if the federal government feels they don't want to subsidize this, or the brunt is so much in the federal government, just as we've seen in the petroleum sector where subsidy was removed, even though the federal government in some form or in some way is still paying subsidy for Nigeria? So these are key questions you have to ask yourself. How did they come about the 1.6 trillion for 2024?
It seems that we as a country, we have this untoward habit of throwing money instead of looking for a very creative solution to our problems. I mean, we've had different situations where this issue of electricity would have been sorted out in Nigeria. We have the Siemens deal, we have a lot of others that are still under works, right? And at this point in time, we should have seen a significant improvement, because there are other sources of energy. There are so many others. We're talking wind. Somewhere in the north, there's a particular governor in the north that is trying to harness the wind energy, trying as much as they can to harness the wind energy. And you're looking at the fact that there's so many other sources of energy that we can use to help us get electricity in Nigeria. And just how I don't know, uncreative we've had our governors, and we've had the federal government at this point to solving our problems, because we need someone who is very, very innovative to help us steer us out of this electricity quagmire that we're in. 1924, 1934, 1944, we had issues of electricity. We're still having issues of electricity in 2024. It doesn't show growth in any capacity. It doesn't show growth. It doesn't even show the fact that we've had governments over the years, right? It doesn't even show that we've had any significant growth, because how can my forefathers have complained about electricity, and today in 2024 I'm still complaining about electricity? So we need to get to that point where we have innovative individuals at the helm of affairs who can actually do the work. It's not enough to talk. It's not enough anymore to talk. We need individuals who can actually do the job. Hey, you can join the conversation. Is that Voice of the People Abuja on YouTube, but you can also call 0700 010 961 961.
Of the CBN from the Capital Territory to Lagos, Nigeria, certain individuals and even groups are kicking against this plan. And according to on the leadership this morning. It says NEF, that's the Northern Elders Forum, rejects relocation of CBN key departments to Lagos. Northern Elders reject relocation of CBN key departments to Lagos. The Northern Elders Forum, NEF, has expressed deep concern about the reported plans by the CBN to relocate major departments from the Abuja headquarters to the former headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. It expressed its opposition to the move, which it alleges would widen economic disparity between northern and southern Nigeria. NEF, in a statement by its Director of Publicity and Advocacy, Abdul Aziz Suleiman, said the organization recognizes the importance of the departments in question, including the banking supervision, which is that's known as the DBS, and other financial institution supervision, the Consumer Protection Department, the Payment System Management Department, and the Financial Policy Regulation Department. And these are, according to NEF, vital components of the CBN that their proposed plan to move it to Lagos, Nigeria. And he said, as stated in the Banking and Other Financial Institution Act, the affected departments are crucial to the functioning of the CBN, and therefore relocating them to Lagos will only serve to further strengthen the already dominant position of Lagos, while potentially weakening the significance and role of Abuja. So these are the concerns raised by the NEF, and he said that the NEF acknowledges CBN's desire to improve efficiency and effectiveness, and it is worried about the potential negative impact this relocation will have on the nation as a whole. So now the question Nigerians are asking so far with the statement of the Northern Elders Forum, are you concerned that this will affect Nigeria as a whole? And there are other people that are of the opinion that they are more concerned that this key agency has been moving from in a way, whether we like it or not, the FCT is the federal capital. We understand that, but it's still within the northern region. So some are asking the question, are you concerned because you feel it will affect Nigeria as a whole, or are you concerned because you feel this department is now being moved from the northern part of the country to the western parts? So I understand the part that Lagos is a dominant state in Nigeria, and when we talk about the GDP of Lagos, it is really high, and some are saying it is necessary that more work, especially economic activities, happen more in Lagos. Lagos is the economic hub of Nigeria, whether you like it or not, and some of the opinion that it is necessary that this should be done. At least they are in the capital, they are in the cities, the hub where economic activity is happening, rather than staying in Abuja where there are little activity or lesser activity.
At this point in time, where you just have to look at the facts, you have to look at the pros and cons of that particular move by the CBN. What is the potential growth for those departments? I mean, for the economy and the CBN in moving those departments to Lagos, will the economy as a whole of Nigeria improve exponentially because of this move, or will there be some issue here and there because of the move? So you have to look at the advantages and disadvantages. I'm of the opinion, I'm of the school of thought where you have to look at the fact that you don't always have to sectionalize issues like this. You have to also look at holistic view. Who is set to benefit from this? What is the potential growth that our economy is going to get by this move? I mean, it's Nigeria. Nigeria is Nigeria. We're growing as a country. If this particular city is strong in this, another city will be strong in something else. We don't have all the cities in Nigeria that are good for one thing only. We don't have that. I mean, Lagos is advantageous because of the ports. Lagos is advantageous because it's the economic hub of Nigeria. Lagos is very advantageous at this point because it's the entertainment hub of Nigeria. I mean, people relocate from Abuja just to go to Lagos for stuff like that. But at this point in time, you're looking at the fact that, is it more advantageous for the country as a whole, or is it a problem because it's moving from the north to the south?
A lot of people have actually, since this, reports surfaced online, we're still waiting for further reports on it. Some have actually said it is necessary that we strengthen institutions of the country, and by strengthening institutions is me, and also strengthening states. some are the school of thought that some key agencies and ministries and departments of the government that's domiciled here in the FCT should be moved to the state where we see more of that particular sector being active. Some are saying, like, if it's economic activities, the CBN, it should be moved to Lagos. If it has to do with tourism and all of that, it should move to the south. If it's oil and gas, it should move to the south and all of that. Sectionalizing some of these ministries and departments. Anyway, I don't know the people who decided to come up with this school of thought, but this is what Nigerians are saying at the moment. But the question is, will this move be best for the CBN? Will we see our CBN thrive and operate at maximum capacity, especially within these agencies and this department, if being relocated to Lagos? That is the question we are basically asking the CBN at this point.
All right, thank you so much for joining the conversation. We're hoping that you'll be able to join us tomorrow at 7:15. Let's have the conversation and talk about our headlines, see how they affect us as Nigerians and us as Nigeria as a whole. So thank you so much for listening to Front Page Review. Don't forget, the morning ride starts all the way from 6 a.m. right down to 11 a.m. Coming up next is the sports bits. Do stay tuned. My name is Gesire Agua.
And my name is Simeon Sunday. Have yourself a good morning.
News.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports.
The Greek god in Rome.
Business.